Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Pregame Show Network. This is The Rewind. I am Tolly Carr, and we're live. Has The Rewind ever gone live before? Well, Uncle Neely and I said we got to give the people something a little different as we roll into season number 2 of our coverage of the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders, and all of the adventures there in Boulder, Colorado. All right, let's bring the guy in. What is up? Neely, I had to get the gray hoodie for this special occasion. Fix that collar, boy. It looks like, you remember that commercial about the bacon?
Fix that collar.
The bacon collar on those Hanes t-shirt commercials. Boy, it didn't work that out too good. But just wanted to, have a little throwback appearance here with the guy, my guy, Uncle Neely and Boulder. So we're live today. That means we'll be able to talk to you in the chat. I'd like to say what's up to Jennifer, Alex, Kimberly. They've already checked in, as well as Tay. So look, Neely, man, sometimes you just got to do something a little different. Mix it up.
You got to do it, man. As long as you and I have been knowing each other, doing shows together, this is literally the first time we've gone live with the Rewind. So let me tell you something about your hoodie live. You'll look better if your sweater was washed and wool-eyed. Hey, dog, it's kind of loose around the neck. You gotta.
It's the look I'm going for, Neely. It's the, hey, we're not trying too hard. The little flashback to the Gen X kind of grunge 90s.
I got you, Tyler. Let me tell you a quick story about stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm known to rock a pocket square when I have my sport coat on and my suit, right? But the key to the pocket square is for it to look like you don't care.
Right.
And so
right.
one time I was getting ready for a meeting and my business partner was there. He said, man, you spent 15 minutes trying to make something look like you didn't spend any time doing it at all. I said, and that's the catch. There it is.
I know. You got to put effort into making it look easy. All right, so let's lay down a little bit of what's happening here today. It is the Rewind. We're going to talk about things that have happened this week. This is like our third Rewind in like 10 days because there's been so much happening as we get closer and closer to the season. I am just here to kind of facilitate so you guys can hear from Uncle Neely, but I'm also directing the show. Okay, let's see. Let me see how skilled I am. Like, you see this computer right here? Like, I'm doing all the switching from this computer. I'm playing videos from this computer. I'm talking to Uncle Neely on this camera right here. So if something goes wrong, Neely, and I like hit the wrong thing or I'm like staring at my screen, folks, that's all that's happening. Okay, that's all. We're just multitasking.
Meaning it's all your fault. Should something go
yes. But you know what, Neely? It all comes from that HBCU experience where you had to make it happen with whatever you had.
We have been trained to do more with less. Like example, I dropped my phone somewhere around here live. And next time you do go to another shot, I'll try to grab it, but I don't know where it is under this table. It's down there somewhere.
All right, let's do this. We got a little surprise video that we're gonna have some fun with. Let's just acknowledge some of the people in the comments here, Neely. Mrs. Dawn Duncan wants to talk about breakdancing in the Olympics. What was your takeaway?
My takeaway is I'm glad they took it away. I've heard out here on the streets, Tolly, that there will be no more breakdancing starting in 2028 in Los Angeles. Like, here's the deal. Breakdancing hit the Olympics 40 years too late. Once upon a time, when breakdancing was a heavily part of hip-hop, b-boying it is called, is one of the 5 pillars of hip-hop. When we were doing it heavily, no talk of it being in the Olympics. They wait till hip-hop turns 51, add it to the Olympics, and there's some chick from Australia looked like she's cleaning the floor with her back. I never saw any breakdancing.
I watched it for like 15 seconds just to I just wanted to hear the music they were using. It sounded like just kind of generic, break beats that you could download from Envato or something. Did I miss it? There wasn't like any popular like hip hop music being used, right?
Not that I heard.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, where's Turbo when you need it? Could we have just brought Turbo back out on stage?
Hey, man, just be out in front of the store dancing with that broom. That's all you need is get the guys from breaking. I know they're probably 80 right now because, hell, I'm 53, but the breaking in the Olympics, it just didn't do it for me.
All right. Well, we can drag Madonna back out on the stage. Rolling Stones are still out there doing music. You name it. If you're still here, we can use you on the tube. All right, Neely, let's do a little check-in here. We got Port Arthur, Texas in the house. We got people checking in from Mississippi. We need to know where you are listening. Seattle is in the house this morning. Colorado Springs, Atlanta. What's up, Big Mike? Big Mike, bring some sandwiches over, Big Mike. You're in the A. We can just eat, we'll chat and chew. Colorado, we're going to have a good time. All right, Neely, I want to get to this. Let me cue it up. Let's see. I got it on loop. Let me see. I'm going to play it here, and we're just going to kind of talk over this, Neely. You did a little unboxing here, right?
Yeah. Got a package in the mail last night.
Look at
with
that.
Plenty of stuff, and lo and behold, somebody sent Tolly Carr something. I did not open it. I don't know what it was, but you were in the same care package with Amarian Miller, with LaJohntay Wester, with Deion Coach Prime Sanders, with Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh. Like, people out there been hating on Tolly, but Tolly getting some love somewhere because they had you in their package with the All-Stars on this team.
Neely, never again in my life will I be in the same sentence nor box or package with the Sanders crew, Jimmy Horn Jr., Omarion Miller, all those guys. This was my one time to shine. So to whomever sent the gift, to whomever would like to send gifts in the future, care of Uncle Neely, he might give it to me. We hadn't crossed that bridge yet. In theory, he will give it to me, but we'll have to see.
I'm going to make sure you get it. I did not know it was in there. You saw me unboxing it live, so to speak, recording it rather. And lo and behold, there was a package with Tolly Carr. And I was like, oh, man, look at Tolly getting some love. And it has some weight to it. It was a pretty good size package compared to the others. It wasn't smoking. It wasn't leaking. So I think it was
pretty
ticking?
Safe. Was it ticking?
That's it.
I mean, after I said quirky last week, it might be ticking. People took offense to the word. Look, here on the Pregame Show Network, choose your words carefully. All it takes is one word can sink your boat. I did not know quirky was on the to be canceled list, but I missed my quirky shirt wearing today. But okay, as long as it wasn't ticking, we're good. Good afternoon, Sacramento, Orlando, Milwaukee, Westminster, Colorado, Knoxville, Kansas City, South Carolina, Mobile. Ooh, I know the Skeeters are kicking down in Mobile this afternoon.
Tyler, I heard you say PAT earlier, Port Arthur, Texas. Shout out to Port Arthur, Texas. Bun B was here this past Saturday. Brought the Trill Burgers to Boulder, Colorado to feed the team after practice and put them out there for Family Fun Day, and gifted me an official Trill Burger hat. So Port Arthur, Texas, Houston, appreciate all the love. Shout out to Bun B and UGK for coming all the way to Boulder, Colorado to put some South in their mouth.
As advertised, I've heard a lot of celebrities, Warren Sapp included, talk about the Trill Burgers. So you got to give us your review, your online review right here, live on the Pregame Show Rewind.
Absolutely loved it. Very flavorful. He's got a unique kind of a comeback sauce that he puts on it. I loved them. I will say now, they're more of the smash burger style, so they're kind of thin patty. So big boys like me, you're probably going to get two of them. But as far as flavor and taste and the bun and the butter on the buns, Trill Burgers is the top, man. It's right up there.
All right, so what makes a good burger for you? Is it got to be pink in the middle? You need it light brown all the way through? How does the perfect burger come off the grill for Neely?
I like a little pink in the middle, man, but consistency is the best thing. Sometimes you go to a burger place, particular mom and pop kind of burger place, and what you got on Thursday, you don't get the same thing on Friday. So I look for consistency. As long as it's consistent, as long as I know what I'm getting and expect to get what I'm getting and nothing got in the past, we good to go.
If I were not a true friend, if I were a hater, I would make you right now break down, dissect Stamps, Trill Burger. I would make you choose sides, but I will not do that to you.
No, bring it, because I'm gonna tell you this. They are really unique in what they do. Stamp Burgers, for instance, the thickness of it on Dalton Street, right around the corner from Jack State University, been in business since 1986. You sat there like, man, I don't know how they turn a profit. The meat is so thick. Like they really use a hefty patty. They've added turkey burgers now to the menu and that kind of stuff. So and portobello mushroom burgers. So they've dabbled into the health part of this thing. Whereas the Trill Burger is different. It's where you smash the patty down and get it pretty thin with the chopped onions and that kind of thing. So two different burger categories for me. Both of them are number one in what they do.
All right. The good thing about being live, the people get to interact and talk with us. So we got Hambage, Hambbage. You guys pronounce it however you think is proper. He has.
And I get to reach over here and get my phone off the floor live.
Hard-hitting question here, Neely. Does Chef Carl, does he have to work on his burger to compete? We got the Trill Burger in the house. Chef Carl, is he shaking in his chef hat?
Let me tell you this. He shouldn't be, because I have said from day one, being here now 18 months, getting close, December be 2 years. Best burger in Boulder, Colorado is in this building right now, Chef Carl's Burger. He has this kind of char grill taste to it where it's kind of flame broiled with the lines on it. The burgers here, oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Neely has spoken. We'll take more hard-hitting questions from the comments as the show goes on. All right, let's talk a little football here. What are you feeling, man? Getting closer and closer. The game week, game day practices are mounting up. They are mounting up. What are you seeing, Neely? What are you liking?
I like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing intensity, energy, confidence, attention to detail. The players are eager to get going. The countdown clock that we have in the building, we're now 14 days away and some change because we play on a Thursday night. So we literally, as we do this Rewind episode live, we're 2 weeks away from opening against North Dakota State. And I think the players and the coaches and fans, everybody's ready to get going. So I think with these next 2 weeks, you're going to see, more things in line to North Dakota State, that specific opponent, as well as true depth charts and scout teams start to develop. But everything is on pace here and or ahead of schedule. I like what I'm seeing out of the revamped units, such as defensive line and offensive line. And, of course, QB1 and Travis, Jimmy Horn, all those guys who were here last year are even more phenomenal this year. So I'm looking for some high-powered numbers out there.
Neely, it's a given that we could come up here and talk about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter on every episode, and we probably have undercompensated and had gone the other way, and we really don't talk about them all that much, to be honest. So let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. You have followed him you've seen every game he's played in college, from Jackson State through Colorado. You always tell us from year to year there is always improvement. So let's tie it into the Rewind, where we talk about things that have happened. We talk about past content that you can go and check out. You sent out the info about the number of scouts that have been to practice already, NFL scouts. What do you think they are scribbling on that pad when they look at Shedeur and they say, "Oh, okay, from last year to this year, I'm seeing this." Let's talk about that draft position. What do you think is on that notepad? Those notepads.
I think they're seeing improved lower body strength. He clearly can run faster than in years past. I think they're seeing a deeper accuracy down the field. He's always been accurate, but now he's throwing the ball anywhere from 15 to 20 yards further with the same percentage of accuracy. But I tell you what I think they're seeing is that what they didn't know they would see. They're coming to see Shedeur, they're coming to see Travis, but when they get to practice, they also leave with 5, 6, 7, 8 other names that are potential first rounders that they had no idea was here and performing at that level as well. So when you look at the experiences on this team, with the returners, some of the new guys transferring in from other programs are now getting the light on them as well. And we're going to have more than Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders being mentioned in the first round when that 2025 draft comes.
First round. Make sure I heard you right. You didn't say in the draft. You said first round.
Exactly. We have more first round talent here than people are aware of, and I think in the weeks to come when we start playing football, some of these names are going to become household names, and people are going to recognize that they're here at Colorado. And when you get to midseason in the season, you're going to know what we know now, that these guys are potential actual first round draft picks no later than second and third. I think Colorado is going to shock the world with the number of people that are going to be drafted from this particular team. But Coach Primus told them, he put up the graphic, when we had spring ball, and put it up again during summer ball. When you look at the number of people that are drafted from Georgia and drafted from Michigan, what they have in common is they're coming from winning programs. So if you want to get drafted, it starts with winning. Winning solves every problem there is.
Is there, and you don't have to give a name if unless you want to, but this is what people are probably thinking. I'm waiting for somebody to put it in the chat. One of those first, second, third round draft picks, is it on the offensive line? Do you see a talent on that offensive line that can continue their playing career on to the NFL?
Absolutely. You can start with Tyler Brown, who was forced to miss last year because the NCAA didn't approve his waiver. So he sat out a year. He's back. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. He's leaner. His offensive line coach, Coach Phil Lodeholt, who played college ball at high level at Oklahoma and played in the NFL in Minnesota, one of the highest paid linemen, redrafting how people look at that position and pay it. He has said that Tyler Brown is the strongest player he's been around at any level. So I think you can start right there as far as people who are going to be able to move on Sunday. You can't forget about Khalil Benson with his height and his strength that he's coming in here from another program as well. But on the flip side, you have BJ Green, who transferred here from Arizona, who got, I think, maybe 12 sacks last year in the Pac-12, and now is going to be in the Big 12 playing for Colorado. You look for those sack numbers to continue. You're getting double-digit sacks. You're going to play on Sundays.
How's Rock's dad doing? I love the content that you put out last year on the Pregame Show Network. His dad paid him that surprise visit, and as a father, just like you, Neely, anytime you see one of those special connections, it is really, really cool. I would imagine his dad is enjoying this moment, seeing his son back out there on the field this year.
Yeah, he is. I actually bumped into him when I was home for July in Jackson. Bumped into him at a local restaurant, and he was actually on his way out.
Imagine that, Neely at a restaurant.
Oh man, Neely's gonna drink now. I might not eat a lot at this particular restaurant, but I'm gonna drink at it. So we were there just chit chatting, and he was on his way out here actually because a lot of people may have missed it, but Tyler Brown officially graduated from Colorado back early summer. Got his degree from here. So a lot of good things are happening, man. And just look forward to now people really being able to see what we saw at Jackson State, what we saw at St. Joe in Jackson when he was in high school, that this kid is not only a phenomenal football player, he's a phenomenal person.
All right, we got Brooklyn in the house. We got Quebec, Canada is in the house. We got some more people hanging out. Phoenix, Arizona, Dayton, Ohio. So we've got our bases covered. Our first ever live episode of The Rewind right here on the Pregame Show Network. So both sides of the ball, Neely. Are you seeing NFL? We talked about Shedeur, Travis. He's the unicorn both sides of the ball. You just talked about Tyler. So in case you're just tuning in, a few minutes ago, Neely said, do not think that there is only first-round draft talent in Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. There are others. Do you see that potential on the defensive side of the ball?
I do. You have, as I mentioned, BJ Green, edge rusher, now being coached by Vincent Dancy, who was a head coach at Mississippi Valley, was a defensive analyst here last year. Now he is coaching the defensive ends, the edge rushers, and they do it as a group here now. So you have the DNs and defensive line being coached by Coach D. Lewis, Coach Warren Sapp, and Coach Vincent Dancy, all in the same room navigating that process together. I think you have a couple of guys, whether it's a Shane Cokes or Chidoze, I think you have a couple of guys who are going to certainly turn heads this year and get looks going into that NFL draft. I also thought that, when you have all those preseason watch list awards come out, whether it's for the conference or particular position awards, there was a lot of Colorado guys that we feel here have the potential to win some of those awards, although they may not have been mentioned in the preseason looks for it. Of course, you have a Travis out there who's going to, get preseason All-American, that kind of thing. But I do believe that when you get to the end of this season, there are going to be more names from Colorado than people thought.
You think Feinbaum agrees with you?
I think Feinbaum absolutely agrees with me. I think Feinbaum's pocketbook doesn't need it to be true, so Feinbaum says things to counter.
Valid. These are valid points. All right, next question. There's a little joke in there. Neely, you put out some content on the Pregame Show Network this morning. Ray Lewis, was that this morning?
Yes, Ray. Yes.
All right, so
Yeah,
that's taken off. Once we're done here, click on over and check out that. Neely, I mean, how many Hall of Famers have constant contact with this program?
all of them that are still living. Last year, man, you had Terrell Owens here, Warren Sapp here visiting. Now Warren Sapp is here, on staff. So you got two Hall of Famers in the building at all times, and Coach Prime, the head coach, and Warren Sapp as a defensive line and analyst for the defense. But when I accompanied Coach Prime to Canton, Ohio, of course, Sapp was there too. Conversation after conversation, you heard every Hall of Famer in the room asking, what can I do to help you guys? What can I do to make sure that you're successful there? And what Coach Sapp was telling me is like, man, you got to understand, Neely, that not only is this a fraternity of the best who ever done it, we know Prime is opening the door for others like us to be head coaches and to be considered as coaches. So everybody in that room wants them to be successful, and they want to do what they can. So you'll see Thursday morning team meeting, instead of Coach Prime doing the speech, is Ray Lewis via Zoom doing the speech. And go watch the video. It's uploaded on the Pregame Show, and we're done with the live. And it was a phenomenal talk. He took questions at the end, specifically from some of the linebackers on the team. And I think they all got a great deal out of it. You didn't really hear a lot of things new. You've heard some things that Ray Lewis said that Coach Prime has said before, but hearing it from somebody else, that's on the other side of the country via Zoom, up in the morning, pouring into you, you could tell it had a very good impact on these kids.
And Neely, tell me this: true is what I'm saying true? And I'm just guessing here off the top of my head. Let me give myself some camera time, Neely. These players, if they want to, they can say, Coach, can I email Ray Lewis? Can you call him? I want him to look at this play and tell me what he would have thought or what he would have done. I don't know the questions, Neely. I've never been a linebacker, but I mean, that access, even beyond a Zoom call, is there, right?
It is absolutely there. And it is how Warren Sapp decided I need to be a coach. Warren Sapp will tell you, when we were at Jackson State and he would come visit us at the Orange Blossom Classic, when we got to Colorado and he'd come visit in the offseason, there was nothing in him that wanted to be a coach. Well, sometimes he would spend some time in the treatment room, getting some work done and just small talking with players around the cold tub and the hot tub. And you get where you exchange numbers. And he said, Neely, man, the questions that these guys would text me or ask me for advice, I just knew that I now had a role I need to fill in their lives. He said, man, I've given NFL people my number and told them, you need any advice, reach out, and you never hear from them. These kids were thirsty for knowledge. They were respectful of the process. They wanted the feedback. They wanted the input. I knew then I can't coach from afar anymore. I got to be there to really have an impact. So I think you're going to see more and more of that, of guys who just like, man, I got a lot to offer this game, even though I'm retired with a gold jacket. And one way to do it, whether you're becoming an analyst or a coach or just speaking to teams, I think you're going to see more and more of it.
All right, Neely, let's address something here. Shashelle. I think I'm saying that right. I used to date a girl named Lachelle, so Shashelle. My eyes are bad. Sometimes L's look like eyes. Neely, I'm gonna read you a quote here.
Okay, read it to me.
I don't like Tolly. Period. He's benefiting off Coach Prime's name, but says underhanded comments. Neely, let me get you to talk, but for a second, let me talk to America here. Underhanded? Neely, you can say a lot of things about me. You can say I'm goofy. You can say I'm corny. You can say I'm quirky. You can say I'm a bad dresser. You can say my blazer belongs in the Selma Civil Rights Hall of Fame. You can say I can't dance. You can say a lot of things. Neely, what if I said underhanded about Coach Prime on the Pregame Show Network that would get me an invitation multiple times during the week? Help me out, Neely. You just can't invent your own truth here. Help me out. Maybe Shashelle will give us some examples.
Tolly, I'll have to lean on Shashelle. Maybe she's the shell that you used to date, and she's just getting back at you.
Well, if that's the case, yes, she does not like me. Yes, that would be true. and well
I
deserved.
have known you, since Coach Prime arrived at Jackson State, and I've never heard you give an underhanded compliment to him or underhanded comment about anything going on. We all like to make our jokes, so does he. But you have been, a straight shooter during all of this from JSU to now. So I don't agree with it, that you're making backhanded comments or compliments. I do agree that you are a tad goofy and not the best
Yes.
dresser in the world,
Yes.
but
Yes. I lean into it. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
hey, but the beauty of being live is you read the comment live and addressed it live. So it might just be the shell that you used to date, man.
Giselle, come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Come on back in the comments. We're just gonna have a come to Jesus meeting while we talk. That's the fun part. I like it, but just kind of come with it here. All right, Neely. Let's talk about this guy. Let's bring him up here on the screen here. Warren Sapp. You kind of alluded to this. He talked to the media this week, and one of his questions that he answered, he really talked about how it hit him once he got here and he started coaching and he saw that passion and that fire from the players. He calls them, the babies, which he can do with his resume. And it really connected, and he talked about, look, a year ago I was on the couch watching MSNBC, had no desire to coach, was not in my system, did not think it was anything I wanted to do, and, man, it has really hit him. And it was one of those, pseudo-emotional moments. It was like he stopped and thought about the question and really gave a heartfelt response, and you could feel it. You could feel it.
Man, totally agree. I was standing there just to his left, and could feel the emotion, and had it gone a little bit further, might have got even choked up there. But even when we do the Wednesdays with Warren, he talks about the impact that his babies, as he calls them, has on him, and that he is here for the babies and not here for the adults, and not here to put up with bureaucracy and BS, but wants to pour into these young people the way he was poured into and then some. And so he's very sincere and passionate about it. Here's a guy who's doing his own thing, waking up when he wants to wake up, going and catching pythons by hand or deep sea fishing, catching sharks on the tail, doing whatever he wanted to do, but had such an impact here last spring just being around these young folks and the way they were reaching out to him for knowledge of the game, that he just felt like, man, I got to do more. I got to get out the couch. And he'll joke and tell you that Coach Prime told him, like, hey, man, come on in, be an analyst. Most days, I'll have you home by 2. And that's when Sapp would go, like, most days. Yeah.
Was that 2 a.m.? That was 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
He said that part ain't happened yet.
But, Neely, isn't that the beauty of football and sports? Like, I'm not counting Warren Sapp's money. I'm assuming he's still rich and can go out and do whatever he wants to, wherever he wants to across the world. But it's that hand in the dirt, mentoring, coaching, that can give him the satisfaction that Corinthian leather cannot.
And I would say that, Tolly, about, 80, 85% of this staff, that it is not money driven. These guys, played in NFL and played long enough, to have their pensions and, have done well in life, whether it's, a Coach Prime or a Kevin Mathis or Warren Sapp or Phil Loholt, who have one of those record-breaking contracts at offensive line when he signed. These guys ain't here, for this college coaching paycheck. They're here to make a difference. They're here to open up doors for people. They're here to, guide folks along the path that they went on and want to give people something that they didn't have. They wish that they had a Phil Loholt and Warren Sapp and a Coach Prime when they were, coming through the ranks. And then, you just can't overlook the fact that they look like the guys they're coaching. When 30, 20, 40 years ago, that wasn't necessarily the case in the coaching industry, and it's still not the case in a lot of places. So you put all that together here, man, you just have a wonderful recipe of sincerity and football knowledge, unlike any college campus in America. There's a unique thing taking place here in Boulder, Colorado.
One thing Shedeur Sanders will tell you if you ask him, he's like, look, man, all that rah-rah stuff, that's good for pregame. It doesn't win you games on the field. But not that Warren Sapp was out there giving a bunch of rah-rah, but his excitement, his energy, his optimism, like, it made me think that defensive line has to be successful Like, I feel like one of the best to ever do it is out there, and I'm getting that energy from him. I feel like something like something's got to work, and by what I mean by work is we should see a marked improvement from what we saw last year.
You really should, Tolly. I think that's spot on. I think we lose sight when we hear, 1-11 team that Coach Prime inherited and then took that to a 4-8 team. But in that 8 losses, there were 5 of them that were by 8 points or less, which is a possession. 5 losses, which were by 8 or less. And this is from a team who was second in the nation in penalties. This is from a team who was giving up big run plays. While you hear Coach Sapp say the first thing we're going to do is stop the run. We're not going to rush the quarterback till we stop the run. Rushing the quarterback is a gift. You have to earn the gift, so we're going to stop the run. And this defensive line is built on that. The offensive line is built on protecting Shador and then opening up running lanes for the running back. So when you stir all those things together, the woulda, coulda, shouldas of last year, the upgrade in the coaching talent here, the way the coaching talent here is now able to reach the players on the team and instruct them, it's going to be a better team than last year. And we'll, try to go 1-0 1 week at a time and get Miss Peggy to a bowl game, to the Big 12 championship and beyond. But you can't tell me, Tyler, that when you look at position by position, unit room by unit room, coach by coach, that this team is so much better than last year that it's unfair to even compare it to last year's team.
Our friend Shashelle is back. She says she's just here for Neely. Pay me no mind. You got a fan, Neely. Everybody can't love both of us, but everybody loves Neely.
Now, that's not true either. We remember 18 months ago that ain't true. One thing I'll say,
I took some bullets. I took some heat with you, Neely. I took some heat with you.
Now that she's kind of clarified the point that she was making, I think that people didn't totally grasp, or people like Shashelle didn't totally grasp, that your questions were from a devil's advocate standpoint, that you weren't asking those questions of me in agreement with the Denver Post-Gazette reporter. You were saying, hey, what if this? And for me to give the rebuttal to that. And we were trying to frame the narrative. So if you've never heard any of these stories before, any of these players or roles before, you could examine it from all layers. None of those times actually speaking on their behalf or saying what was right or that you agree with them. You were just trying to frame the discussion.
I try to, be a journalist at times, Neely, at times. And so here's what I understand. Serious talk. This is the beauty of live. We can just sit up here and chit chat. The majority of the consumers, viewers, the people we love, our community here on the Pregame Show Network, love Coach Prime. They absolutely support everything they do. They're going to carry the water, so to speak. They're going to carry the water, right? There are people that it's like anything else. There's left, right, and there's in the middle. So I think everybody has an opinion and a viewpoint, and I want everyone to at least feel like if they had a difference of opinion on the way something played out, that someone would pose the question that they want to ask. Now, this is the first time we've gone live, so when we do pre-recorded, we can't interact with the guests. So when we're doing the Denver Post thing, I'm thinking to myself, there's a fan out there that's probably thinking, I didn't maybe like the way that went down, or I would have done it differently. So I at least wanted to give them some voice in the conversation and for you to give additional context in your reply. But it's all good. It's all good. Shashelle, I'm having fun.
And I love Edwin Smith said you got to make a stupid comment to get a shout out. And because I just said Edwin Smith's name without him making a stupid comment, it proves you don't actually have to make a stupid comment. Maybe just make a fun one. Shout out to Edwin Smith, man. That cracked me up.
Look, shout out to everybody. If you like me or don't like me, that's fine. It's fun. I'm as Neely say, all clicks count. Right. And she's not my ex. That was a little play on words. There's a town. Is it Ridgeland? Ridgeland, Mississippi, Neely. I know you know every small town in Mississippi.
Hey, man, that's Ridgeland and Jackson touch each other. They're neighbors.
You spent some childhood days stirring up trouble in Ridgeland. Did you?
No, it's quite the opposite. You don't play around in Ridgeland. That's Madison County. No, hey, when you get to County Line Road, Tyler, you start reaching for that seatbelt. You straighten up. No.
You said that's when corporate Neely takes over. Uh, Neely, here's one thing I want to go back to what you said. And so I live here in Atlanta, right? And we are, sports radio is going to be SEC all day. Even Georgia Tech has to beg to get some airtime. Everything's going to be about Georgia, and by way of that, you're obviously going to have some Alabama and Auburn conversations as well. I've yet to figure out why, for the most part, sports media in Atlanta is hypercritical of Deion Sanders. Now, I'm not for sure how they felt, before he came back into college coaching, but they always have his name in their mouth, and it's always critical. They don't like Cam Newton either. I don't know why they're always so critical of Cam and Deion. I love Coach Prime, and I love Cam. But you talked about how everybody at the Hall of Fame is like, how can we help? How can we pour into the program? And I'm like, so these people have the football credentials, the cachet. It would be an open endorsement, I think, if you have literally all the Hall of Famers wanting to help you, and there's you can't hear any voices amongst the Hall of Fame saying, good player, but I don't know about that. I might want to stay away from that. Everybody wants to assist. But then when I hear the conversation, in places like Atlanta and maybe other markets, it's the opposite. Like, oh, this is a sham. Oh, it's going to fall apart. Oh, this is just a circus. It just doesn't add up, Neely.
Hate never does. You can't rationalize irrational behavior. We can't sit here and make it make sense. That's something we attempted to do, with the Denver Post, is make it make sense. And you can't make it make sense. When you just lay this all out on the table and just stack the cards in an unbiased fashion, there's nothing wrong with what Coach Prime is doing here in Colorado and what he's trying to do for these young people in Colorado and make them professionals on and off the field. Some people out there, are hating on it because, again, all clicks matter, and they can't get a click for a positive story because they don't have the access. So they just throw bricks to get a click that way. And then other people just shoot holes at everything, man. When Noah was building the ark, I'm sure there was people standing around pointing, talking about it ain't rained here in 50 years. So you're just going to have that as part of your process. But this is not going to get Coach Prime off his message, off his mission. And more importantly, it doesn't get the players off their message or off their mission. It's just background noise in a restaurant. You hear it, but you really can't comprehend it because you're focused on the conversation at your table. So, hats off to him, man. Maybe it's just some of that, what I call construction worker, what mentality when the lady walks by and they're catcalling her and she doesn't stop and they say, oh, hell, I didn't want you no way. That's just because she didn't stop. And so there's a lot of programs out there who hate on Coach Prime because they wish they had Coach Prime.
Yeah, I guess that's how it goes. I have, Neely, a request for you from the comments.
Right.
I've lost the name already. Oh, no. Here we go. Warren Lowndes. I'm call you Warren here. I'm not great with names sometimes. A nickname for the defense. You don't have to give it on the spot, but you have some things that automatically pop in your head. People looking for a nickname for the Colorado defense.
I like the fact that they're looking for a nickname. Let me do some thinking on that, Tolly. Maybe the next rewind, we'll pull Coach Sapp in and get some thoughts from him as well. But I like that, a nickname for the defense.
All right,
they're gonna certainly be deserving.
All right, we're talking about defense. Coach Livingston is in his first year as defensive coordinator, yet to call his first game, taking over after the end of last year. What are you seeing with his communication, that kind of NFL style of coaching and execution, which we see from a lot of positions, but they're at the defensive coordinator position this year? A little different. Last year's defensive coordinator rooted in college. This guy comes from the pros. What are some differences you're seeing in fall camp here?
And I think that is why you're seeing the difference. Rob Livingston has an NFL background, and it is a do what you can with what you got. We got to make the most of what we have. We got to play right now. You go to war with what you have. It's not the time to recruit and build an army. You got to go with the army you have. And so in that, he assesses the talent of the individuals in the room and has designed a defense around those individual and unique talents. He's put a defense in place that for those guys who do things well, you're going to have a chance in the scheme to do something well because the scheme is drawn up to bring out the best in you and hide any deficiencies you may have. Last year, Coach Kelly, who was, in my mind, a phenomenal coach, a phenomenal defensive mind out of the Alabama and Auburn system in Florida and Florida State as well. But his defense was really built on, having guys 2 or 3 or 4 years in a program. Where you come in as a freshman, you learn it, and you get good at it in sophomore and juniors and senior. You're the master of it, and you're the best defense in the nation. Well, the new era of college football, you're not coaching somebody 3 and 4 years anymore. You're coaching somebody 1 and 2 years. So you have to have systems in place that maximize what you have right now. And Coach Livingston, as a former scout in the NFL, as a coach of the secondary in the NFL, he knows what the pieces to the puzzle look like to get people to perform with what they bring to the table right now. The players love that about him. They love that they participate in coming up with the language of the defense, and they love that it's not a forced scheme, but a scheme that is built around them. I'm looking for this defense, not just the back end, the safeties he's coaching, the upgrades at corner with like a Preston Hodge coming in, but the defensive line and the linebackers as well. I think this defense from the line of scrimmage all the way back to the safety has been upgraded.
All right, Neely. So I gotta ask you a question here. Do you have about 10 minutes of battery juice? Our first live, I'd hate for it to fade to black unexpectedly. You're good.
We good.
Okay. All right. Just
the only thing I'm missing right now, I did before we went live. I walked through the cafeteria to do my daily segment with Coach Chef Carl Solomon, and we put that in a weekly package. And so he's got some shrimp out there, man, some steak and some other dishes. I can't wait to get to when we wrap this up, but I can smell it coming through the door.
Okay, Neely. Let's see. Hip hop aficionado. Which rapper had the line, "Shrimp and steak wasn't the only thing cooking"?
Who was that, Tolly? Where have I heard that from, man?
Let's see if they can answer in the comments. Famous, not famous, but, maybe a memorable rap line. And one of the verses was, "Shrimp and steak wasn't the only thing cooking."
And as they come up to the answer, let me underscore Miss Dawn Duncan. You're exactly right. We cannot call it Big Black D. We cannot call it. That will not happen.
America.
And to Mike Stephanie, Block Bully is doing good. Chidoze is doing great. He's one of those guys I mentioned early on that I think is going to make some noise and be mentioned and getting drafted and some postseason awards when the time comes.
All right, Neely, just to give you a little hint, this would have been a rap song maybe around 1987. Like a big name.
Man,
I think he debuted maybe like 17 years old.
You got to give it to me, Tolly. I'm lost.
Let me see. No, not.
And this will be the first time I've ever failed one of your hip hop quizzes.
And I don't want to get canceled, so I don't think I want to finish the verse. But unless my memory serves me incorrectly, which it does, that was one of the lines from LL Cool J. Remember the song "Big Old Butt"?
Yeah,
I remember. I think this might have been
talking
about.
That's exactly "Big Old Butt," and it's when they went into the Red Lobster to pick up after work. Yep, you're exactly right.
Brenda? Was it Brenda that worked at the Red Lobster, or was it Sheila? It might have been Brenda. Sheila. Somebody.
Tyler, let me tell you how I'm about rap songs. It's the same way with me with the alphabet. I have to start at the beginning to get where I'm going in the middle. I can't just, say K. I got to go A, B, C, D, E. I got to go all the way through
it. Man, do you know how many times me and my cousin Twink, played Super Mario Brothers all day long and just had the cassette of LL Cool J in the background? LL Cool J and the Beastie Boys all day long. I mean, till the tape popped.
Yeah. Because when Biggie said that line, I knew what he was talking about because I have played a tape until the tape popped.
Yes. This was prior to CDs for all you millennials and Gen Z people. We had another question for you, Neely. I got off track talking about LL Cool J. The question was, where is it? Well, Neely, I lost it, and I forgot it that quick.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Hey, shout out to the 398 people watching this live. I hope that you will click that like button. Also, and become a subscriber. 398 is a strong number for a live show. Appreciate y'all.
And just like my memory, it always comes right back to me. Someone asked about altitude this year. Did players get acclimated to? Well, first, is the altitude really a thing? Is that something that's just overblown? And if it's not, if it's an actual thing, here in year 2, did players become acclimated to the altitude faster?
Let me tell you this, Tolly. It is absolutely a thing. It is a real thing. And it has to start before you get here. You have to start hydrating. I don't want to play like I know the science of it, but for some reason at this altitude, the moisture pulls from your body faster. Like for us brothers out there, your skin get ashier much quicker here than it does in the South with no moisture in there. So you got to hydrate. As far as getting acclimated to it, I don't think that you do, because you have to keep in mind most of these guys go back home for a period of time. And when you come back, it starts over. Now, it probably only takes about a week or so to get adjusted for it. And the longer you're here in it, such as we've been here, all summer long, strength and conditioning, and now back going into the 3rd week of fall camp. So you're beyond acclimated. It actually becomes an advantage to you. But when you go home for about 7 to 10 days, it starts over when you get back. So it does give, I don't care if you're playing for the Rockies or the Nuggets or the Avalanche or the Broncos or the Buffs. I think it does give you an advantage because it is something that you have to get used to and adjusted to when you come here for the first time.
Someone wants to know, Neely, what is the demographic for this channel? Do we have a number? I think the Maestro said he was born in '87. He wants to know what the demo is.
The demos is spread out pretty evenly, man. When you take, age 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, they're all in that same 20% range. So I would say the bulk of the audience, is age 30 to 50, but there's a significant portion in the 20 to 30 range. YouTube doesn't break it out in race, but it does for gender and geography. It's a majority male audience. And one thing I love about it, geography-wise, man, it's all over. Shout out to Atlanta, Houston, New York City, Los Angeles, Charlotte, and surrounding areas in North Carolina, Florida do extremely well in all those places. And, of course, the Dirty South, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama, where we originated from, is still doing wonderful numbers. So I don't think it has a particular age group that is bigger than the other, because they're all right there, 1 or 2 points off.
Someone wants me to throw you another rap line. We've talked about this one before. It is like one of the most random things that I say from some of my favorite songs. It wasn't even like the verse of the song, but I always find myself saying, thought it was, but it wasn't.
No, that's Pac, man. That's Pac. That's Pac all day. That is Tupac all day. You thought it was, but it wasn't.
Yep.
Bow down to a boss player.
I don't know why that line, I think that's just how my life goes. Thought it was, but it wasn't.
Hey, just like you thought Shell was your ex, but she wasn't. So you thought it was, but it was.
Yeah, man. That's how it goes. Feel free to throw out some lines there in the comments. I just got a commercial pop up. I was trying to read some comments. Chicago's in the house. What up, Chicago? What's up, Dallas? Where else are you guys checking in? Want to show you some love. My daughter's texting me her football game where she's a cheerleader, captain, 2nd year in a row, starts 30 minutes earlier. So, Neely, I might be getting out of here in a second. I got to drive across town. Something about North Dakota State here. Somebody wants to talk a little X's and O's.
Let's do it.
North Dakota State loves to run traps in misdirection, so we have to stay at home and watch the outsides for traps and dumps. The tight ends need to be hit all day. Valid analysis there, Neely. What you think?
I totally agree with that. They call it eye candy. is where you move somebody on the offense to get the defense looking one way versus where they should be looking. And you'll hear Coach Sapp, Coach D. Lou, and Coach Dancy preach eye discipline. Know where your gap is, where you're supposed to hit the A or B or the C and be there. Don't worry about something going in motion. The guy behind you has that. But they will do things to get you off your spot. Here's another thing that people have to understand, Tolly. This Colorado football team, 2024 season, are facing 5 opponents that are ranked in the top 25 AP poll. And then when you look at that, you're opening up against an opponent who is number 2 at their division level, which is down 1. So you can't take North Dakota State as a slouch. They have always been in their playoffs. They've been national championships on multiple occasions. And so it's not a game that you can look past because they realize they're going to be the only thing on national TV at kickoff, and they want to show what they got, against the big names on this team. So there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to throw at us, such as moving around. But the biggest thing, Tolly, and to the person who posed it, I think, is that we can't beat ourselves. We have to start off right and not be on the path to be the number 2 most penalized team in the nation because North Dakota State has guys who've been on that team 5 and 6 years. So they have some experience and they know how to play together and they know how to not beat themselves. Too many times last year, pre-snap penalties or penalties after the snap. We had too many of those and took us out of advantageous situations.
I mean, this is Super Bowl type game for North Dakota State, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like there's going to be a guy from North Dakota State, make no bones about it. You don't know his name right now. But come around 11 p.m. Thursday, August 29th, one of those guys is going to make a name for themselves. And they realize this is their opportunity to do that.
Wasn't it what was it, Neely? Was it the tight end or the receiver for Colorado State last year? I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anybody on Colorado State, but after that game, I knew him because he was out there.
Yeah, the guy that kept running the slant on us that we never could stop. Yeah, exactly. Same kind of thing, man. Somebody is going to show who they are, and this is their opportunity to do so. And that's one of the things that Shedeur Sanders was saying, and of course haters tried to twist his words and say, "How are y'all everybody's Super Bowl and you haven't won anything?" Well, it's not Super Bowl as in that we're the champions. It's Super Bowl in that all eyes are on us. To paraphrase Tupac. You thought it was, but it wasn't. But here it is. It really is. When we play, the first 4 games are on national TV and on different networks. The bidding wars continue to cover these games. And people know it's like playing in a Super Bowl because the stadium is going to be sold out. It's going to be on TV, and it's going to be the only thing on TV at that time. And so the world is going to be watching. Our opponents know that just as well as our players know that.
Neely, I cannot tell you the positions or the situations I found myself in last year watching Colorado football. 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not up for anybody at 1 o'clock in the morning. That Colorado State game, I didn't fall asleep. If I was up trying, Lakers games, I fall asleep on all the time by like 10:45, wide awake for that game. Cutting the grass. I got my phone on the handlebar of the lawnmower watching the game. Like it is can't miss. Like you don't want to DVR it because you're going to find out what happened because it's going to be running social media. Like it is can't miss television.
Yeah, and you're glued to it. It's not only can't miss at the start of the game. When you look at that Colorado State game, which we won, or look at the Stanford game, which we lost, how do you fall asleep on either of those? And they were those Pac-12 games, those last games of the evening. Now that we're in the Big 12, we still have, some late games that are quote unquote our home games, but we travel to Texas Tech and Lubbock. We go to UCF in that game. We play in Orlando. We're going to play Kansas, there at Arrowhead Stadium. And so you're going to have some times where, Tolly, you don't have to worry about falling asleep because it's past your bedtime. You're going to be able to see it in what you, in the Eastern time zone, consider prime time.
Let me tell you, man. I put my son to bed. He's 4 years old. He has this new race car bed. And I tell myself I'm going to lay beside him until he falls asleep. Then I'm going to get back up and, finish my evening. Bruh, I'll be in that race car bed 6 o'clock the next morning.
And you fall asleep before he does.
Yeah. He probably goes back downstairs for some milk and cookies. Talk about it. Him upstairs.
Bernie Mac. Shout out to Bernie Mac, man.
All right, we're gonna round out the hour here. I'll make sure I want to shout out all these towns. Thank you guys so much for representing on the chat. We're up to 434 right now. We got Tuskegee, we got Gary, Indiana, Saginaw, Phoenix, more Atlanta, got Jacksonville, Duval. We got Maryland, more Brooklyn, more Boston, the Bay. So we had Nigeria earlier. Neely, I mean that shuts it down. They're listening to us in the motherland.
I saw the Nigeria check in, and we reached, as far as I saw, a high watermark of 434 watching live. So shout out. Right now it's 429. Shout out to that 429. Continue to watch live. Do not forget to hit that that little thumbs up thing. Become a subscriber if you are not already a subscriber, and always like and share it because it's how we eat around here. Neely don't miss no meals. Tolly is always bringing it in Atlanta. Tolly, I got some news for you and the audience out there.
Oh, let me take you full screen. There you go, Neely. You have the platform.
Well, it's not news to you. You already know it. Our first bye week, I'm coming to Atlanta, and we're doing a show together from the HBCU Game Day studio.
Whoop, 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 whoop. I got a seat for you. Hold on. Let me show you. I got a seat for you. I got your own microphone.
I'll be right there.
Tell me, what do I need to lay out for Uncle Neely right here to make you feel at home, Neely, so we can do our show together?
Some food from Chef Solomon.
You got to bring that with you. I got a Gusto sandwich shop across the street. There's a Jason's Deli over there. I know that's not going to compete. They don't have lobster mac over there, but I can have you a mean beef stew right here waiting for you.
You know, man, show me you love me by your effort. I'm not gonna hold you to Chef Solomon standards, but I just need to see them effort, man. We can't coach effort. Effort is on Utah.
Somebody said, bring them some peanut M&Ms, Neely.
Oh, yeah, and get the one that says family size for sharing. But I'm not gonna share. But that's the one I pick up.
All right, Neely, when you go to the movies, candy in your pocket before you get to the theater. Yes or no?
It's an absolute yes, because it used to be I ain't had no damn choice. Now it's a yes just out of habit. But for the most part, I really don't even snack during the movies like I used to. But there used to be a time when we would take a whole bucket of chicken in there to get some peanut M&Ms.
Boy, me and my wife, I wish she was here to tell the story with me. We went to a Medea movie, Fayetteville, North Carolina, probably 10 years ago. This family, Neely, in the front row, brought a picnic basket with the plates already made, wrapped in aluminum foil. Previews are rolling, it's not quite dark in there yet. They're calling out names like Tyrone, here's your plate. Becky, here you go. Well, there wasn't a Becky in this family. Betty Lou, here's your plate. And I thought to myself, that had to be the most. They were doing the most. A picnic basket with pre-made plates in the movie theater.
I love us.
And came in the side door. Like half of them snuck in. It was unbelievable.
I love us, man. I have seen jokers, put the bucket of chicken in the baby stroller and had to cover the stroller like the baby in there asleep.
The baby KFC. Baby Bojangles.
Oh, do need to say this, Tyler. Need to say this. Speaking of KFC, shout out to Coach Prime and his family. The new KFC commercials are out. And also tomorrow, which is Friday, 6:30 p.m., if you're in the Denver area, we're going to have an open scrimmage practice. Colorado Buffaloes, we're going to take a short bus trip up to Denver, 6:30 p.m., All City Stadium. It's a Denver Public Schools football field, 6:30 p.m. Friday, open practice scrimmage. Be there about an hour and a half.
All right, that's going to be the place. All right, Neely, we're going to do something special to close out. We've been live for an hour here. I have family obligations. Got to leave you. They want me to bring you a blazer, a matching blazer, and we can be like old school. I'm not going to say CBS. Old school NBC, And maybe we can get some little pocket emblems, and we can be up here like, just that retro matching blazer sportscaster look.
Or look like we're about to walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Either one. Because your blazers be kind of dated.
Hey, you got to see my blazers in person, man. I think some of the resolution in taping our shows, maybe lost the generation. My blazers are pretty sharp. They're sharper than you're giving them credit for. All right, Neely.
No, they sharp for the 60s, no doubt.
It stings, people. Really stings. That's that about my blazers. All right, Neely, I'm going to give you the full screen. I'm going to tip off, and when you finish what you're about to say, we're going to fade to black here. But I want you to let people know what has been on the Pregame Show Network and what you might have coming up on the next couple of days. And once you finish that, Neely, say goodbye, and we are out for this first ever live episode of The Rewind right here on the Pregame Show Network.
All right, Brother Talk, we got 400 still with us live. Shout out to that 401. Appreciate you. Don't forget to like. That's that little thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe and keep on checking in daily. We've been giving access pass content, full access pass content, so you can see what's going on behind the scenes at fall camp here. That includes player, coaches, interviews, and just behind the scenes stuff from the team meeting like today. We dropped the video with Ray Lewis speaking to the team this morning. You can expect more of that to come. As well as tomorrow, you'll be seeing what went on in the afternoon here for the back half of fall camp. I think this is practice 15. And then Friday, we'll take you into that on the road to Denver, that public scrimmage and all the highlights from it. So, hey, man, always continue to like, share, subscribe. We appreciate the support you give to the Pregame Show. On behalf of my man, Tolly Carr, there in Atlanta, GA, it's Uncle Neely, your favorite auntie's favorite uncle, closing out from Boulder, Colorado.